Alright gang, we are back with part 2 of the weight reduction here. So last time we got in here on the passenger side, took out some of the sheet metal that was over here. It's now over there in that bucket. And we drilled a couple holes over there. This time we are going to come in here and do the same thing on this side and take out some of this unnecessary sheet metal. And we'll find some more spots to drill some holes. But yeah, it is freezing out here. And I'm going to get to work so I can start warming up. Got my hat on this time. Alright, so here's the bolts we're working with. We're trying to get this piece off, and it is attached to this piece down here. On the other side, there was a bolt that went through here. And on this one, you can kind of see that there just wasn't never a bolt there. We got this bolt down there that attaches it to the bumper where the ratchet is. And then there's another bolt way up in there that you can't really see. But another one is going through the bumper right here. So those are the ones that got to come out. And then there's this little brace here that also needs to come out to just be able to get this piece out around the rest of the frame in there. So that's what we got going on this round. Well, that one just twisted off. Makes it kind of easy though. I'll probably have to chisel this bolt out, just like I did that one on the other side. Camera at some point stopped recording. I have no idea when, but just in case none of this was on camera, these brackets are all gone now. Gotta bolt this guy back up there to support this fender, even though this fender's coming apart down there at that mount, but both these brackets are out. They are in the bucket over here. Bucket's looking a little full, getting a little bit heavy, so it's promising. Probably going to scrounge up all the rest of the bolts and stuff like that are laying around on the ground here that aren't going back in. We got to put this guy back in that we took off last time to brace up that fender. And yeah, we'll scrounge up some bolts. May look for a few more spots to drill some holes, and then maybe we'll have to call this weight reduction thing good for tonight. So I found another little spot here where I could take off some metal. Both of these brackets here on both sides to kind of hold this core support up. It's got 3 bolts in it. Both of them have a hole here. There was no bolt in there. Obviously, if there's no bolt in there this whole time, then it probably doesn't need to have a bolt in there. So I think I'm just going to cut this right about across, right about there on both sides. And this is thick. This is probably 1/8 inch thick or better. So that's going to help a little bit. In the bucket. In the bucket. Always come back and clean up your edges when you're done so you don't cut yourself later. So I came to the realization that underneath this fancy cover there was this bar right here in the front of the car, and it gets covered up by that cover that I just took off. So I can go through here, put a bunch of holes in there, and I can do the same on this piece here too. And again, this stuff is all right in front here, so you know, I feel like I'm kind of trying to start from the very front of the car and work my way back on these weight reduction stuff. Really trying to get every piece out of this front that I can. So we're going to start cutting some holes here. Alright, whole mess of holes. Yeah, that's another thing I haven't really talked about is like if you take one of these pieces and you put them in there, like I'm losing as much weight in chips as what I'm actually getting out in this slug, especially with these smaller hole saws. So yeah, I'm probably losing a little bit more than what I'm actually going to be able to weigh, but let's get these in the bucket and we'll get a weight on it, and that'll probably be about the end of this whole weight reduction thing for now. I got some other things I need to focus on with the car to get it ready for the circuit. And I had parts that came in for the Hydro Boost setup now, so I really want to get that going, and I really need to get something done with this rear end. So those are probably going to be the two priority things coming up now that we got this thing kind of, you know, as good as it's going to be for a minute. And I really need to get shorter bolts for all these too, because every one of these bolts is longer than it really needs to be. So there's, you know, a few pounds that could be lost there just in changing bolts around. Alright, I actually just went and looked in my own inventory and found a bunch of shorter bolts. So I'm not going to weigh all the differences between all these bolts, but, you know, there's maybe an ounce there, maybe 2 ounces. Alright, here we go. We stole the scale out of the bathroom again. We'll get it turned on here. 13.6. So minus the 1.6 for the bucket, that is 12 pounds. Like I said a minute ago, there is just, you know, tons of metal shavings and chips under here. There's maybe another, you know, 0.1 pounds there, but 12 pounds off the very front of this car. You know, you always hope for more, but I feel like that's pretty good. That's probably going to do it for this episode of weight reductioning a heavy car. I said at the beginning of the video that Last time I had it across the scales, it was 38.40, so now I'm down to 38.28. So probably not enough to make a big difference, but you know, if I just keep up at it, I think, and just keep chipping away at it, you know, a pound here or there every time I get an opportunity, every time I take a door panel off or something like that, just cut some holes. I think we can just keep chipping away at it. So, you know, 12 pounds down so far, and who knows how many more to go. And if I really want to have like a lightweight race car, I should probably just keep going on this rig. You know, even in factory setup, this thing would probably be 400 or 500 pounds lighter than the Monte Carlo. But yeah, we'll save this one for another day, and we'll just keep wrenching on this thing for some reason.